All right, so here's an example I wanted to show demonstrating TE Polr and struggles that your IEIs often have. Um, you can see this a bit with your SEIs as well when they're trying to explain things. However, this is an example that's more suitable for an IEI because that's the kind of interaction we're looking at. So here we have Jack from World Socionics Society. We all know and love him. He's an ILE, ENTP, with Michael Pierce, who is a INFJ, and in Socionics, he's an IEI. So just take a look at this conversation for a minute and just kind of notice how clearly, cleanly they explain what they're talking about. Okay. Jack, of course, is talking about Socionics, and Michael Pierce, who finished a book recently, he's explaining a lot of his ideas from his book that he published.
Around in a horse and a cart to show to everyone your nobility. There's a lot of ethics in there. It's all the trappings of nobility and royalty as well. Whereas for gammas, I'd say they're not so interested in necessarily showing off their wealth in this imagery. If you take, say, examples like Bill Gates, they don't tend to be so showy. They tend to dress like anyone else because for them it's not about showing what one's wealth is. It's knowing for oneself, I achieved that. I achieved a massive global corporation which has made more money than anyone
Now,
else.
do you notice how Jack is just giving you the information? He's just explaining what he knows. It's socionics. Obviously, that's his bread and butter. But it's coming to him quickly. It's nice and neat. He makes it pretty obvious and for everyone to see that, right? That's a good example of a high TE demonstrating an overall just high thinking function, right? He has to understand the structure of what he's talking about, TI, but he also is using TE to know how it really would be applied, how it would look in reality, how you'd use it. Let me explain that to you. You see it really coming quickly. Now compare that to Michael Pierce, who's trying to explain his own ideas, which he published. He put in a book. So it's not like he's trying to make it up on the fly. It's stuff that he has thought about enough to literally publish it, and watch him trying to still explain his own ideas. Watch how he kind of struggles with it.
Which of those would you apply to gamma then? How would you sort of arrange it?
I'm not too familiar with the cards of tarot. So if I were familiar, I might do some. But in terms of just archetypes, I think the idea of merchant, someone, a self-made man, I think is very much in the line of gamma. Someone who's achieved power, power for oneself, one's independence, and the ability to not have anyone else be the boss of them because they did something themselves and they worked really hard at it and they took their initiative and they used their wits. I think that is, I think what Gamma is primarily about. Also, this idea of harsh judgment, who you can trust. You need to make business decisions. Who can you trust to actually uphold their side of an agreement? You have to look someone in the eye to get a sense of who they are individually and quite quickly judge that. That sort of mentality where you carved out your own existence against all the ill will of the world.
Again, see the so clean, right to the point, very direct, explaining it. And we can see his understanding of gamma, what it looks like, what it sounds like. You see how that explanation comes out.
I'm thinking maybe I should say playing card suits so in the tarot you have the pentacles or the coins represents the merchant class. The swords represent the nobility. The cups is the clergy, and the
a lot of intuition there.
The wands is the peasantry.
Everything representing something symbolic.
Yes. What's that?
Why would wands be the peasantry?
I don't know. I might be.
We don't know.
Maybe I don't know if anyone in the live comments wants
to correct book.
Me, but I might be.
These are your ideas.
I might be mixing it up with playing cards because I know in playing cards, which are sort of based on it, hearts, what was it? Spades, no, diamonds. I can't remember. But the idea was, I believe, with the tarot was that The wands, it might be better to say branches or something, because in all of the imagery, it's like something that has stuff growing off of it. So it's something that came out of the ground, out of the soil. And you have that. I think you could also relate it to the idea of the power the peasantry has is not like well-furnished swords, but they have sticks that they can beat you with. And if there's enough of them, they'll beat you to death. So that kind of a thing.
I see. Not magic ones. I think that.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, not magic ones.
No,
yeah, like batons. There's sometimes batons.
Okay, but not then. Right, bundles.
Yeah, no, not Harry Potter. No.
I'm not having that fun. Yeah.
All right. See, so again, you saw Jack's explanation. Then you see Michael Pierce kind of trying to use this idea about tarot cards and that they would have wands for the peasantry, and there's a lot of symbolism. There's a lot of imagery he mentioned. This is his ideas and concepts. And a lot of this stuff, he's been thinking about it for years. He put it in a book. He said it took him 7 years, a compilation of his ideas to put together. So you would imagine that if you spent 7 years of time putting all that together, it would be really crystallized in your head. Yet when he's here trying to explain his view on it, he's very wishy-washy. He's struggling to kind of explain it. He's forgetting reasons why he did it. It's just not coming to him quickly. All this symbolic ideas that are kind of odd. Like, why would you use a wand? You say what wand? Like a Harry Potter wand? Like a wand that you use to do as a metal detector when you're wanding somebody? Why would you say the word wand for the peasant? Why do they have wands? It's like, no, it's not wand. It's more like a baton, like a stick, like a club that you would beat somebody with. Or like, well, that's not a wand at all, right? You see the kind of difficulty in expressing and communicating his ideas in a clear, logical way, right? This is a good example, a good contrast that you're seeing here between somebody who has good TE and a good combination of TI and TE with an ILE versus an IEI that has very poor TE, non-existent TE. It's really, really struggling. Even when their own material, they struggle to bring it up. Okay, so I thought this was an example to kind of put out there. It's a nice little excerpt to demonstrate TE Polr in action. Yeah, and kind of a muddled TI there. He has some structure that he put a book together and that he's trying to explain, but you see where the TE is just like, where is it? And then a lot of symbolism to try to explain things, a lot of representation, tarot cards, rather than just discussing the thing directly. I view these people like peasants that just don't have the money and the grandeur and so on, the way that beta quadrotypes love to flaunt their money and stuff that they have. And because they don't have any money, they are forced to deal with clubs and sticks and so on to beat you with. Simple. But he struggled a lot to do that. So very common problem for IEIs. You can see this with SEIs at times too, where they're struggling to kind of explain themselves, but the SEIs will not use as much symbolism. Okay, so hopefully that helps you a little bit. That helps you kind of spot this. And if you are an IEI, I'm sure many of you can kind of like nod your head and go, yes, I have that problem. It's annoying. You know, it's like, there you go. Others now you can kind of help to see IEIs. Okay. As usual, like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this. And if you want some typing sessions or you want some second opinions on your typing, feel free to contact me. My information will be in the bottom.